look at Putin out there, making a straight person's flag, because we have the gay flag, the LGBT rainbow flag. Well, Putin, I guess, created a straight flag. Well, that's got the gays in this country in an uproar. Well, I thought they loved Putin. They loved communist Russia. But I guess they don't anymore, because now they have a straight flag. A straight person flag over there. But back home, now people are saying, well, okay, well, if this person can't have this job because their religious beliefs clash with the law that they have to do with that particular job, then this gay person can't have this particular job because it clashes with the duties of that particular job. So, you can't go to work in a Catholic church and preach about sin or work towards, wiping out certain types of sin or what have you, if you're committing that particular thing on a daily basis. I'm just saying, it's starting to be reversed, and the LGBT community is being caught because they can't deny it that they're trying to be reversed. And this is the same thing in race relations too. We have, well, I'll get into this a little bit later. You have that documentary that's coming up on MTV, white people documentary that, a bunch of white kids are basically feeling sorry that they're white and that type of thing. But it's all, there are some people, blacks, not just white, but there are blacks who are starting to call out the double standard on racism here. So, and I hear the argument, well, blacks can't be racist because, they don't have the power. Well, okay, because they're not the majority. Okay, well, then let's be frank here then. Then whites can't be racist either because they're not the majority in the world. Well, we have white supremacy. Well, no, not really. If you think about where whites are in power and where they're leading, it's less than half the world. They don't have the power anymore. So you got to ask, well, what's the reality of this stuff? What's the reality of a person who refuses to bake a wedding cake? Well, are you going to fine everyone out of business? Okay, what's going to happen is you're going to get a straight person who's going to walk into a gay-owned bakery, and there are those out there, and they're going to demand something that the gay owner isn't going to want to do. Now, the question is will they be let off the hook because they're gay? Or now that gay has gone mainstream, because now they've gotten to the Supreme Court decision, well, yeah, you guys have the same rights as everybody else and everything. So now that that's mainstream, they're no longer a protected class. Now they're going to get treated equally. Now understand, if you have somebody, a judge or a clerk, who, they can, for legitimate religious personal reasons, it could even be a straight couple that they can look. There have been clerks of the work or town clerks, what have you, that have refused service to mixed race couples. Now, some of them have been fired. Some of them, somebody else in the office has handled that type of thing, but welcome, gays, because now you're part of the mainstream club where we're all subjected to the same types of, bigotry, if you want to call it that. And you don't get a pass because you fly the rainbow colors. That's not what the court decision was all about. It wasn't about that you were now no longer going to be discriminated against in any way, shape, form, or fashion. It just says they just said you had the same. The Supreme Court basically said you just had the same right to marriage as a straight person does. So if a straight person can still be denied, So can you. So can the gay. Plain and simple. Yeah, and if a straight person, a straight Christian, if they refuse your service, and you say that they can't, well, then you can't refuse service to anyone either. Now, let's face it, at least when the Christian baker says no because my faith says no, they have something that they're standing on. It's called the freedom of religion. Now, when a gay person refuses service to someone, what are they standing on? A religion? No. They don't have one. They might say that they're Christian, or they might say that they're Jewish, or they might say, there's some other religion, but it's not the gayness. I don't think there's a church of gay out there. They won't be standing on a religion. So you're going to be more, I'm just telling you this, gays are going to be more vulnerable to suit than straights. For the simple fact that, look, every major religion in the world basically has an admonition for same-sex unions. In other words, it's not really allowed. Now, name me one that does. I don't know of a major world religion that does allow it. I mean, you might, well, the Buddha, no, not really. Because the Buddha says that there's a natural order of things, and that, and that did not include homosexuality. If you think that Indians from India, all the different factions or religions of India would allow, no, they don't. They're pretty adamant against homosexuality in India as well. So you're not going to win there. Well, obviously the Orthodox Church, Russian and Greek Orthodox, they're not going to stand for that type of thing. Monks, Shaolin monks, Taoism doesn't really affirm same-sex unions either. Because, there's the yin and the yang, there's the opposites, balance. Well, same-sex unions are not balance. Yin and yang, that's not yin and yang there. There's no balance. Look, I know some people are going to probably say, well, you're being anti-gay, right? No, not at all. I'm just telling you the real truths now about the world around you. Now that you think, the LGBT community thinks that they have won this huge victory, that they think that it is going to erase any potential for bigotry, if you want to call it that, you were wrong. Because now it puts you on the same level as straights, who have to deal with being told no for various reasons, from various people, from various religions, for various things. And you're going to find the same thing. And you're going to try to beat this by saying, well, it's because you're gay. Well, no, that's not going to work, because it is going to be reversed on you, and it is going to be reversed on you extremely hard. And then you're going to cry, well, that's not fair. Well, yes, it is. Because if you can sue and win $135,000 settlement or judgment against a Christian baker who does not want to participate in a same-sex union because it is against their religion, then there is no way in hell that you can refuse anyone any service for whatever reason simply because you're gay. It won't work that way. Now, look, fat people. Extremely obese people. I think that they have the Americans with Disabilities Act. There's the extreme obese part. They have special needs and protections under the law because that's considered a disability under the Americans with Disability Act, I do believe, overweight people like that. But they don't get to refuse people service because they're fat. I mean, they can't go up to a skinny person. They could work in a real obese person works in a bakery, and a skinny person comes in and says, yes, we want a cake that celebrates being skinny because, we lost all this weight. Well, the fat person can't say, well, no, I don't believe in being skinny, so I'm not going to bake you the cake because, it makes me feel and look bad. That doesn't work. So, somebody comes in and says, well, we want a straight cake to promote being straight and the evils of homosexuality. Well, the homosexual baker then, because of what they have done to this Oregon baker and other Christian-owned businesses, they won't have a leg to stand on to say that, to refuse them. And they'll lose even bigger because there will not be a religious a background on this. Now, not saying that the fine could have been more if they weren't religious, but just imagine for a second, the judge looking at this, well, they are, they do claim to be Christian. We can't really hammer them that hard or else we'll definitely lose the religious right. So it's got to be, somewhere in the ballpark. But if you don't have any religious background whatsoever backing you up on your refusal to do of service for someone for whatever reason, you've already lost battle one, and you're going to go down hard. And I can tell you this, that they're going to look at you and they're going to say, well, we're going to teach you a lesson, and we're going to hammer you so hard that the fine is going to end up being twice what it was for that Christian baker in Oregon. If you think $135,000 is bad, wait till you start seeing judgments from against gays for $500,000. Oh, those are coming. Those are coming because they're going to be targeted. And trust me on this. Just as the gay, the LGBT went out there and targeted certain businesses and certain people that they found out to have certain strong Christian or moral faith of another religion, just as they were targeted, do not doubt me that there are people who are gearing up right now to go and target gay-owned businesses. Now, one of the things I find, is interesting is that, a lot of gay clubs have a policy that, gay stripper clubs is that a lot of, they have a woman's night. And that straight women just can't come in anytime they want to. Well, that's going to change because some straight woman is going to want to have a bachelor party or a bachelorette party at a gay stripper club because obviously, guys, look, you'd be surprised how many men in these stripper clubs are gay for pay. They're not really gay; they're actually straight. But the money, from what I understand, is in the gay club, so they go and they strip for dirty old men, just like women. Go strip for dirty old straight men, and gay, the male stripper goes to strip for dirty old gay men. So they're both stripping for dirty old men. But it's uncomfortable for most women to go into a straight strip club where there are female strippers, but they're not welcome in a gay strip club. And maybe because of the reason is maybe the club owners know that half, if not most, of their male strippers are actually straight, and they would probably pay more attention to the women. But hey, yeah, so it's going to come down where some of them are going to get sued and fined for being discriminatory, and the LGBT community is going to stand up and say, well, no, that's not fair. Well, yeah, it is because of what you have done and the precedents that you have set. So you got to be very careful when you are setting precedents on something. And then look, you just because, let me just put it succinctly, just because you hold a certain job, it doesn't matter what it is, does not mean that you have to leave your true religious faith or beliefs at home. Not at all. You still have a right to stand up for what you believe in. And if you're gay, you better understand that, because you're going to be trying to stand up for stuff that you believe in as somebody's coming in to try to take you down. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. And, they're going to find that out soon enough.